If you've known me for a long time, you'll know that before I was making videos on this channel, I used to make stop motion films using LEGO. I eventually branched out into doing things like LEGO set reviews as well. LEGO has been part of my life since I was only a year old, even earlier than racing games. LEGO was part of my video game world too. On my hand-me-down Windows XP machine, I not only had Need for Speed Most Wanted and Hot Wheels Bash Arena, but LEGO Island 1 and 2 as well. On my first game console, the GameCube, I not only had the Need for Speed Underground games, as well as Hot Pursuit 2, but the original LEGO Star Wars. I can't forget LEGO Universe either. That game took up the majority of my free time in 2011, and when it closed just the following year, I needed something LEGO related to take up much of that free hobby time, and that's when I turned to YouTube and I started making stop motion videos. If it wasn't for that game and what decision I made after it closed, I don't know if I would have this channel right now. Outside of the video game world, I have way too many LEGO sets. Even when I ran out of space for a lot of LEGO sets and couldn't build a city of my own, the hobby sectioned itself off to cars. And of course, you know how I feel about cars and racing games. If I didn't care, I wouldn't have nearly 7,000 people listening to me talk about this. I wouldn't have made a nearly hour-long Burnout series retrospective, have it get corrupted due to audio problems, and just keep on going without really being bitter about it. I also wouldn't have hated Need for Speed Payback so much that it effectively decided my current career path. At this point, you could probably imagine how I would feel about something that combined my passion for racing games as well as LEGO, after waiting 22 years for such a thing to exist. I was invested in LEGO 2K Drive from hearing the initial leaks. I didn't care that the early leaks were wrong and people were disappointed that it wasn't a Midnight Club game, because it sounded fresh. I saw the game and I was intrigued ever since. It looked like a good sequel to Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, which is a fantastic game. But due to it being open world, it looked also like The Crew 2 at the same time, but if that game was actually done right. All with a LEGO car builder and unlockable cars from real sets, if I wasn't signed up already, I'd be convinced something was wrong with me. I got a new graphics card for my PC a few weeks back that came with a free $100 Steam gift card. Quite a deal if you ask me. It provided me the perfect opportunity to grab the standard edition of LEGO 2K Drive. I waited until May 19th to play, only to find out this game is absolutely amazing. The automatic switching of vehicles creates a huge variety of gameplay, eliminates the need to make on-road vehicles handle off-road, and makes boat racing relevant and fun in a car racing game. The pacing of the game is top tier, with the game feeling like it never really stops or slows down. Everything loads incredibly fast, the challenges and activities in the world are not only fun, but are super player friendly to restart and try again. And overall, it's the last game to really nail this feeling of an open world in a racing game done right since Burnout Paradise. The only time the game really slows down is when you want to build your own creation. Of course, I wish there were a few more base build options so I could recreate a few more sets, but for the most part, everything you could want out of a LEGO car creator is ready from the get-go. I was really afraid this editor was going to feel unintuitive and I would never really end up making my own creations, but I got the hang of this really quickly from trying to recreate a few different LEGO city sets. I then went on to make my first original vehicle. I present to you the Couch Potato. While I was making this, I truly got a hang of the editor, and I was reminded of a lot of the feelings I had when making my own creations out of real LEGO bricks. The fact that the video game is able to recreate a feeling from a physical item, especially LEGO, one that I've known for so many years, was very, very impressive, and I felt it happen pretty quickly. I then went on to modify a preset car I had in the game and take it from an off-road truck to a two-door off-road SUV, reminiscent of something like a Bowler EXRS. LEGO 2K Drive is great without the editor, but with it, it has the best car customization system made accessible in a video game. Look, I don't care that it doesn't have an R34 Skyline, because you can just go build the R34 Skyline yourself. You can't say that with any other racing game. The tone of the game and the sense of humor is also great. If you watch the LEGO Movie, this game feels very much in line with it and you'll probably enjoy the atmosphere. The game's different maps feature a great variety of land, given that you can effectively drive on water now as well. The game doesn't have any missing multiplayer features like other racing games the past 6 years have had, and even features split-screen open-world gameplay as well. Just the fact that a quick race feature is present, so I don't have to go into the story mode, makes things so much more user-friendly. With all of this together, LEGO 2K Drive is stupidly good. I know some might believe that it's just another licensed kart racer if you read some of the critic reviews, but in reality, it's an innovative pure arcade racer that takes some great features from many classic racing games we love, but also innovates in other areas, creating a truly fantastic racing game, arguably being one of the best in the past 6 years in my opinion. I know in this community, we can't fathom that a new racing game could possibly be better than an old one, but I honestly play this game over some games that others consider classics. It's just that good in my opinion, which is why it's so heartbreaking to know the game has a microtransaction problem. I feel like there's some FUD surrounding the system, so let me clear up what it is. The game, throughout the story mode, has a pretty good pace of how much money you're given per race. It takes a while to buy a car in a shop, but once you gain enough money and actually acquire the car, it's very rewarding, especially given that you can modify the base of the car you just bought in the editor and create anything else with it as much as you want. However, once you're done with a race for the first time, trying to play that race again will give you significantly less money if you win. If you try to race online with real people to get around this, you're actually awarded significantly less money than you would racing against AI. Now, the game gives you plenty of cars in the story mode, and the car builder has nearly every brick you'd want, with a few extra being unlockable in the story mode, as well as a few more being buyable in the shop. So it's not like the gameplay itself is ruined, or you can't progress in the story. It's after the main campaign is done, and you want some more cars is when the problem arises. I feel like an easy way to fix them would be to simply add a 0 on the end of everything you earn. That random dollar you grabbed out in the open world, make it 50 instead of 5. When an offline quick race, you get 1250 instead of 125. The only thing that should have 2 zeros added are online race wins. This way you wouldn't even need to adjust prices in the shop. It's a simple fix as most of the game's economy issues rely around simple numbers. The game doesn't have a complex gambling mechanic that needs a complete redesign or anything like that. Adjust numbers, get rid of the rotating item in the front of the shop, and I think you're good. Now, this obviously isn't just some technical issue that will almost certainly be fixed in an update. In fact, they've only tried to make it worse, only to change it back via a hotfix without saying anything about it all. It's a malicious act from 2K trying to get people to spend more money on a game that was already $60 or more to play in the first place. I think this just needs to go, it's as simple as that. It shouldn't be a thing in a full price game in my opinion, especially with one that's marketed towards kids. I mean, look at the way Unky looks at you when you're about to buy an item. You think this makes me want to buy your stuff? What frustrates me about this even more is not only the fact that this is the game's only big con and does worsen the gameplay to an extent, but as a video producer who engages in discussion about these games, it completely changes the dynamic on how we talk about this title. For years, people have wanted more pure arcade racers on the market. Now we get, in my opinion, one of the best ever made, only to be ignored and shunned due to 2K's mischievous tactics. Visual Concept's first racing game, which is better than many studios' third or fourth racing game, is now going to be overshadowed by its publisher, and its gameplay innovations are not only going to be forgotten by the fans, but possibly never even taken into consideration by other game developers to improve their games. But I'm not only frustrated at 2K either, I'm frustrated at the series of events here. The situation. A game that seems like it was just made for me, combining two different things I've been passionate about my whole life, to be amazingly well made and completely disrupt the notion about modern racing games, only to be completely forgotten due to bad corporate tactics. I'm just upset because of how good this game actually is. It's weird to say. I will certainly continue to enjoy LEGO 2K Drive, but I'll recommend it on a sale rather than for its full price. To me, I will continue to say that it's an amazing game in every other area but its shop. But this is a game that should have just been a slam dunk. It's so close to being an easy recommendation. I actually really wanted to buy it for my 10-year-old relative I'm giving my old Xbox One to, as I'm sure he'd love it, but with this game's practices, I'm not so sure. With this one simple problem that revolves around numbers, the game's reputation has been tarnished and will continue to affect its legacy unless the issue's fixed. I sure hope it will be, but knowing 2K's past, and them trying to update this game, I'm not counting on it. The only chance I think we have of this being fixed is if LEGO comes to the conversation and does something about it. And that's where I want to end this video off. If you want some kind of chance of this fantastic game being fixed, I think we need to send a message to LEGO themselves rather than 2K. Share this video as much as you can using the hashtag LEGO2KGrind. Ideally, if you have Twitter or Instagram, tag the official accounts for the LEGO group in the LEGO 2K Drive game. If we can flood their socials, they might look into it. I sure hope so.